Phil, you're at that crash scene. Tell us what you're seeing right now as the sun is coming up.
Don, we've been here through the night, and as the sun, and it's been pretty terrible, I've got to say, and as the sun comes up, the sights that we are seeing here, well, they're even worse. Obviously, you can see this, the example, just one part, really, of the wreckage that, as you mentioned, has been scattered across a very wide area. It's a big debris field. It's interesting that you've got a big piece here, and then all the other big pieces are several miles away. But what we are seeing around here are those bodies, so many of them, that are lying, some in the fields, some by the road. There has been some effort by emergency workers here to identify those locations, and you can see that because that's where they've stuck a stick into the ground and attached a little bit of white cloth to it. There are so many pieces of white cloth. It is really, really quite distressing. But as I say, something of a recovery operation underway here, but it is very limited, very small, especially when you consider the scale of the disaster that we're talking about.
And Phil, you were the first network reporter on the scene of this crash, this horrific event. Does it seem like an organized situation, or is it chaotic, and who is in charge there?
It's not chaotic, it just seems so terribly underdone. Who is clearly in charge? Well, that is obviously and still very much the pro-Russian rebels who continue to occupy and control this ground. They are supervising the work of a very small number of emergency workers that technically work for the Ukrainian government, but these are just local people from that department. It is a very small operation. What they are not doing is they have not secured this site. The fact that we are standing so close to this is incredibly, incredibly telling. There has been no effort to begin the investigation here. Crucially, no effort to really begin removing these bodies with care and dignity and so forth, processing them, ensuring that they are returned to their loved ones in the best possible state. That hasn't really begun. It's not happening. We understand that they are collecting bodies, but it's not the sort of operation that you would see. I certainly think it's fair to say we are not seeing world's best practice when it comes to the collection of these bodies here, Don.
And, you know, not to be too gruesome, but we have heard that the bodies are beginning to decompose. I would imagine the smell is horrific. We see the debris that is behind you as the sun is coming up. And as I understand, you can't really show us that much for fear of showing, you know, one of the people who died in this event. Can you make out certain parts of the plane?
Beyond what you're seeing here, this is the clearest example. This is the most obvious example of the plane. We do have to be careful where we point the camera. It is true, because there are just so many things here that we just can't show you or the viewers. There are other pieces of the plane everywhere. There are personal effects everywhere, suitcases, other personal belongings. We see them scattered as well, but it is in some areas very much mixed up, very much intertwined, and so that is why we do have to be so sensitive in trying to convey what we are seeing and experiencing here. It is very difficult to do, really, very difficult to do it justice, especially because I think what you have here behind me with these big pieces of wreckage, they very much show the scale of the physical disaster, the force that was responsible for breaking up this aircraft in the sky. What is difficult to show and convey is the human cost, but that is what we do see, and it is visceral. It assaults the senses to some degree. You mentioned a smell that is beginning here. It is true. It is, as I say, distressing. It is here. It is very confronting, and it shows so far that over the last day and a half since this accident took place, what we're seeing on the ground hasn't changed very much at all, and there is no sign that this recovery effort, any sort of investigation or security effort, is going to really gain a lot of momentum in the near future either, Don.
I have to ask you this. I think it's important because it's going to determine the outcome of the investigation. What about the black boxes? Have you heard anything about them?
Not specifically. There was a lot of talk and speculation about this through the day. Yesterday, reports that perhaps they had been moved across the border to Russia. What we've heard from very senior Ukrainian officials talking to CNN through the night is that, no, they believe they are still on Ukrainian territory. They haven't been more specific than that, but it means that they are, in theory, still here, possibly still in this area. Perhaps they have not been recovered I don't know to what extent the rebels here have actually launched a real search effort to try and locate these things. There is so much debris, it is spread out over such a wide area. It would take a considerable amount of time and a large number of people to do it thoroughly, and we haven't seen either of those things just yet, John.
Phil Black, thank you very much. We appreciate your reporting.